Peace. This is King Noble Black Supremacy, and in this particular video, I want to talk about the virtues of a black supremacist. The virtues of the black supremacist is so important to being one that they cannot be overlooked. They're worth me dedicating an entire video to the virtues alone. And in me deliberating on the virtues, you'll get a higher understanding of what black supremacy is. A lot of people ask, what is black supremacy? Repetitively and continuously. It's not something that can be explained in 5 minutes, 30 minutes, even an hour, or days, or months, or years. It is a state of consciousness that is self-explanatory in one who devotes themselves completely into engaging in it. The virtues are important. The highest and most virtuous state that a black person can attain is a black supremacist. That is the highest state, the most virtuous state that one can obtain. It is above all other levels, all other titles, all other categories, all other positions, all other ways of which one can be defined. None of them will raise one higher to the level of a black supremacist. This is a fact. None of them will. Once you become a black supremacist, all other titles can be done away with. Many of them came from your oppressor and exist within the framework and the mindset of your oppression. Many of them exist within the matrix of his reality and have limitations that keep you from ascending to the highest level in nation building, in community building, in self-building, and in rulership. Many of them do. So once you take on the title of a black supremacist, all your other titles can be removed. You don't need them anymore. You don't have to be a brother, a sister, a nephew, a cousin, a husband, a comrade, brotherhood, sisterhood. None of these ideas are relevant. None of them. You can get rid of all of them once you become a black supremacist. But once you truly devote yourself and represent the virtues of black supremacy and all of what these other categories and titles are supposed to mean, you will be the fulfillment of them executed in their most perfect manner. This will happen naturally through the virtues of being a black supremacist. Because today in this society where we are at war and under attack, and this is post-traumatic stress, slave syndrome, being past that, after 400 years of that, none of the other titles are in their proper place or in their proper categories and can be acted out. Black supremacy is the only title that is relevant right now. It's the only one that can fix or put the others in their proper perspective. You can't be a husband until you are a black supremacist. Because you can be trying to be a white husband as a black man to a white wife, or an imitation white man husband to an imitation white man's wife. You cannot be a father until you are a black supremacist. Because where do you lead your children to? Where do you guide them to? What is the ultimate result in fatherhood? What is the goal? What is the objective? You cannot be a sister unless you are a black supremacist. What is the essence of sisterhood based on? Gossip, feminism, competition. What is it based upon? You can't even be a sister until you can be a black supremacist first. You cannot be a brother until you can be a black supremacist. Or what is your brotherhood based upon? White European symbolisms, allegory, gangbanging, materialism, making money, cliquism, separatism. What could your brotherhood be based on if it's not based on black supremacy? All of your categories, father, husband, sister, brother, nephew, cousin, none of them can be experienced at their highest altitude or magnitude without black supremacy. So you don't have to focus on any of them anymore. They are not relevant. You don't have to worry about being a father, being a cousin, being a nephew, being a niece, being an uncle, being a sister, being a wife, being a husband. You don't have to worry about any of them. Concern yourself fully with being a true, total, devoted black supremacist. That should be your overall focus. Then you will be capable of the type of loyalty, of the type of sincerity, of the type of focus, of the type of discipline, priority, objective, goal, agenda, to carry out any necessary roles that you would have to play in any aspects of your life. And they will be done in the most supreme way as a black person. That way you're making sure that these categories and titles are working for you and you're not trapped into the matrix paradigm of somebody else's conceptual framework or somebody else's reality, something that somebody else gave to you. So the black supremacist is the only thing that matters. When you cannot be nothing else to anybody, when you cannot be a husband, when you cannot be a father, when you cannot be a nephew, when you cannot be a niece, when you cannot be a cousin, when you cannot be a co-worker, when you cannot be anything, when all other categories fail, the last one that should be standing without question, without doubt, is a black supremacist. That's the last one that should be standing, because that's the integrity of which they all are built. That's the integrity of which our future is built on. Because if we don't establish black supremacy, we are headed towards genocide, destruction. Our end is near if we don't step up and become a supreme nation and realize the supremeness of our existence to go beyond the negative situations and circumstances that has kept us in the muck and mire of the oppression of white supremacy. We're going to have to realize the supremeness of ourselves before we realize anything, because we won't even be able to make it through any of the other challenges of being categorized by anything else. We won't make it through any of those other titles. We won't succeed in any of those other roles until we realize the supremeness of ourselves and the need for us to be supreme in all of our undertakings and overtakings. The highest virtue that one can obtain is black supremacy. And the virtue of black supremacy is to put black supremacy above all things, above all goals, above all desires, above all objectives. Put black supremacy above everything. That is the virtue of the black supremacist. Nothing will raise higher than that. No relationship is more important or more significant than the relationship between black supremacists, the relationship between a black supremacist and black supremacy. None other will be greater. None other will be more important or more significant. They all will be on the back burner. They all will be secular. They all will take the background to black supremacy. That way we have something that is fortified. It is indestructible. It is invincible. It can stand against all the challenges that the matrix can throw at us. All the challenges that life, situations, and circumstances can throw at us. We'll be able to stand in the face of all of them with complete and absolute integrity, surety, security, unquestionably. So black supremacy must be above all things. It must be above all addictions. It must be above all obsessions, all forms of zealotry, all forms of anything. Black supremacy must be the predominant focus and predominant meditation of the individual. That is the virtue of being a black supremacy. They will let nothing take over or override the black supremacy that lies within them. Nothing. And when at the moment that they realize they do, all they will simply do is get themselves back on track and get back focused on who they are and what the real agenda is and what this is really about. That is the true virtue of the black supremacist, of the black supremacists. This is King Noble, Black Supremacy. Join my website, www.kingnobleuncensored.com.